So you guys actually went to a cabin on a lake, right?
Yeah.
The album?
We did.
So you said that was a little different, I believe, than what you typically do, how you typically write?
Yeah, normally we go, Ben and I are the songwriters, and we usually find one other voice there in Nashville. And we go from house to house, songwriter house to songwriter house. But we had a lot of our good friends that were songwriters. They said, you know, if you got a place for us to write, you know, we'll fly out there for, you know, 3 days. Our label, you know, flew them out, and it wasn't a cabin, it was a lake mansion. It was it was cool. Amazing. Like, it really was this incredible family. We put on Facebook, does anyone have a place where we can write? And this family spoke up, this incredible husband and wife, and they said, we have this place with it has an indoor pool connected to this cabin, connected to a modern house where you can cook. There's a huge deck and a lake and a preserve for animals right next door. So we were literally, there was a woodchuck that lived under the deck, a bald eagle that lived across the lake, and every night we would cook and eat, and a deer would come by and watch us, and it was just like we were like in Snow White or something. But it was just this peaceful place, and to go from busy, we play 200 plus days a year on the road, and to go from that to this lake, this tranquility. We could stop ourselves. Our cell phones didn't work, which is terrifying and awesome, because we got to quiet our hearts and really just pour into the Word and spend some time with the Lord, and we got to hear Him. And there's so many times where you get so busy in life that you don't stop to hear what God has to say to you. We talk and talk and talk, but when you stop and you get into the Word and you pray and you just quiet yourself, you can really hear what God's trying to tell you. And that's what that lake house did for us. It let us hear what He was trying to pull out of us for this album.
Okay, so going along with that then, what song meant the most to you personally from the album, and what's kind of the story behind that?
Man, I really do. I had a lot of fun with this album. I got to play a bass clarinet, which is my high school marching band, but on a song called Ain't Nobody that I wrote in Hawaii with a ukulele. So that one was fun. That was like the most me song. But I think the one that always gets me is a song called Everything in Awe. And being out there, it was so beautiful on the lake, and my buddy Ben just started playing this riff that he'd been playing for years, almost a decade. He'd just been playing these notes, and he played them again, and the guy that was with us, Seth Mosley, who ended up producing the album, he's like, keep playing this, because there's something there. And while Ben played it, I looked up, I was reading C.S. Lewis, and there's this gorgeous sermon that he talked about nature, and he said that we've almost given, you know, over the course of our history, we've given wind and air and sun, we've turned them into gods, some cultures, and they said, C.S. Lewis was basically saying the reason they do this is because it's as close to our God as we can get. Like the beautiful scenery, the sunset, the stars at night, those are beautiful things. And he said that if the New Testament is true, it is rustling with the rumor that it will not always be so. That someday we will put on the freshness of the morning. Someday we will enter in and share with God in the way that His majesty is shown to us. And just His words in that moment filled me with awe for my God. And standing there and looking at this lake and seeing the beauty. And so that song just kind of poured out of us once we realized this needs to be a reverent song. We need to give God thanks for, like Isaiah, He sits enthroned above the earth's great circle. He stretches out the heavens like a canopy, calls the starry host one by one, each by name. And that's our God. And I love that verse. Isaiah 40 is probably my favorite chapter of the Bible. It always gives me goosebumps thinking about how powerful He is. But everything in all, that's what we want to be. Our heart and soul, the whole wide world, everything stands in awe of God.
Okay, very cool. So what what song seems to connect with your fans the most from the album, do you think, and why?
From this album, you know, I think that we've gotten a lot of people coming up with Prodigal, and I think at first, you know, it's the first song on the album, and you hear these drums, and all of a sudden people are hooked into that drum beat, and it's driving, and then you get down to what it's all about. And there's so many times on the road where people would come and say, hey, pray for my daughter, pray for my son. They're lost right now. We want them to come home. And we started to realize that the prodigal son is a recurring story in almost everyone's life. In everybody's life, you've either been the prodigal or you know someone that has, and in some instances, I think everybody's been the prodigal. And so for that song, we just wanted to let those people that are out there struggling and lost know, hey, today's the day. Turn around, come running home, because this is the moment we have. but not only that, God is not—He's not waiting for you to turn around. He's pursuing you. And so, just that idea that that the prodigal goes and wastes everything and is a completely wasteful. We've all been there. We've all taken it for granted the things God's given. But that song connects because there is that. It's not like you have to travel a million miles. All you got to do is turn around and ask Jesus for forgiveness, and He throws his coat around you, kisses you, and says, "My son, welcome home." And it is a beautiful story that I think still connects with our fans.